c'est l'histoire d'un homme qui tombe d'un immeuble de 50 étages. Le mec, au fur et à mesure de sa chute, il se répète sans cesse pour se rassurer. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Mais l'important, c'est pas la chute. C'est l'atterrissage.
C'est moi que tu plains, mon cul. Non, putain, par contre, j'essaie de prendre moi. Tiens, vas-y, arrête.
Il y a 2 jours, il avait sévèrement blessé un jeune de la cité pendant une garde à vue.
Comment il est mortel en vérité, putain.
Et alors, qu'est-ce que tu vas en faire?
Vas-y, on verra si Abdel meurt.
Vas-y, tire!
Hi, welcome to this BFI home event. My name's Kaleem Aftab, and we have the great pleasure of chatting to Mathieu Kassovitz, director of the masterpiece that is Haine. So, what are your memories of making it, and how do you feel that times have changed in the intervening 25 years, or do you feel the film could be made today?
I have no idea. I think the subject could have been worked on today, and because it's still relevant. The movie itself, I have no idea. You tell me.
I certainly think it can be, for sure. And that's why we're looking at it this year, and we put it in this season of Screen Rebels. When you created the 3 characters, Saeed, Hubert, and Vince, did you think of them as rebels, or did you think of them just as people living their lives?
No, they were my friends. So it was a representation of different, the whole concept of the project is that there are many kind of different people from different backgrounds, and it's not just Arabs or blacks, or there are many people in the project, and especially in France, because we're not segregated like they are in America. So the idea was to give a universal approach of these kids, not just as a group of black people or a group of Arabs, but I even pushed it like to make the 3 religions, which is not the best, not the most realistic way to. Those 3 kids would have been like the perfect, image of what the youth could do if we're all together and we're all friends, So projects can do that, because when you're poor, you hang out with people that are meaningful. You don't care about the money, you don't care about anything else, but the real friendship and something, a strong bond. So you get that from any kind of colors, and you don't look for anything else, but people are from the same neighborhood, they understand the same language, so therefore you can be friends with everybody. So that was the reason why I created that group, is to make it a little idealist, and make it more universal, so that I didn't get questions like, what project were they from, what part of Africa were they coming from? What part of Maghreb were they coming from? So it was not about that. It was about the youth in general.
And it was also interesting because the black blonde was being used by the media almost as a slur on these young kids from the projects. And then you made this.
No, but I used it as a slur because it was ridiculous. You know, Black Blanc was a very peaceful way to look at it, but I didn't use it like that. I didn't use it like we're all friends, and you know, these kids have interaction within them that are based on their background and their color of their skin and their personal history. So they have that. You know, Hubert is the one who should be fighting because because the police is racist. Okay, not the white one shouldn't, you know, should help his friends, but he shouldn't be more violent than the person that are directly concerned. But he is. So like I was when I was a kid and when I was younger, and I hang out with my black friends and Arab friends. I was so fucking shocked by the way they were treated by the police, and I was more, you know, they were like more, that's life. I was more like, no, this is crazy, you know. So the whole thing was to put these kids and to have one activist, one, you know, like fuckhead, and one clown in the middle to make the communication go so that people can understand who they are deep down. Because the whole point was to make these kids lovable. Because I knew I had my film worked within the last 10 seconds. So if I could make people love these kids for an hour and a half, and I can just kill them at the end, that's how I knew I would get the audience to listen. Because I was talking to to people like my father, who was living in Paris, in not nice neighborhood, but with no contact with these people, or people in deep France, deep countryside France, who never heard about Black and Arabs. So that was the point. But I don't remember what was the original question.
No, you answered it, because the original question was about the use of Black Blanc Bleu. You said you just then that you were working towards the ending. When you were writing the script, did you start with the ending and work backwards?
Yeah, I knew the ending first. That's the ending gave me the movie. Because I wondered when there was an event in Paris when a kid got shot in the head in a police precinct and he was handcuffed to a chair. Means that they had an argument and the cop got his gun out to scare the shit out of him, and the gunshot, just went. And it's exactly the end of the movie. And so it just triggered me, and I was like, what happened to this kid and what happened to this cop from the morning when they got up to finish like this at the end of the day? Because they don't know each other, or maybe they met each other a couple of times, but they are not enemies. And the cop is not a killer, and that kid is not a killer either. So how did it get to that level of hate where at the end accident happens, accident or sometimes murder, like plain, cold-blooded murder. This one was an accident. The guy went to jail, but he shouldn't have put his gun out, but he went, something happened. He snapped. How do you snap? Why do you snap? Who are these kids? How can you put a cop to that limit? Who is that kid? So So when I came out of the riots that came out after this horrible story, I was like, I need to understand, because these kids are my friends. And I wake up, I call them in the morning and say, hey, what are we going to do today? And, some of them, they don't go through the day. They die before. It happened before. So I really wanted to show that they are not just a percentage that you see on the news at night, that they have names and they have families and they have flaws, but they are humans, and that's what the media takes out of people. They did the same with the Muslims. They did the same with every category of people. You put a percentage of it on it, and then you look at people in the street and you just see a percentage. You don't see humans.
When you came to shoot in the banlieue, it was beautiful the way you really showed the world You use crane shots, the famous, obviously, traveling camera from the DJ booth. And it's a big contrast to Paris, where you really take the focus away from Paris and put it to the guys. What was your ideas in terms of framing?
Just a lack of money. So before the shoot, the producer came and Christophe Rossillon, the producer, came to me and said, "We don't have enough money to do the movie the way you want to do it." So I said, "Okay, what do you have?" And he said, "We have enough to do, the project. You need time because you want beautiful shots. You need some cranes. You need to have a full crew. You need all that. But Paris, we cannot do it like that because we can't afford the same. So we have to find a way. Either we level everything to the same level and do the whole movie, but you have to take things out of the project and shoot faster, and I said, okay, or when we get to Paris, we shoot guerrilla style. So we have 12 crew members. We have everything that we can fit in a van, including the camera, and that's it. So it means no rail for traveling. We couldn't track. We couldn't, and we had only long lenses, so we can hide somewhere in the back of the street and let the actors play without using lights or anything. We just use the lights from, we scouted by lumens, not by geography. So it became a blessing because I had to find a way to justify. It was a way to, if you shoot long lenses, then you take the kids out of the background because the background is out of focus. And when you shoot wide lenses, you incorporate the people in the environment, which what I wanted for the whole beginning of the movie. So it became I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's shoot like really fast. Let's do Paris, let's put everything we have in the project. Let's make it look good because that was the whole point of the movie. And Paris, everybody knows what Paris looks like.
But you decide to show Paris in black and white. When was that decision made to make the film in black and white?
I made it right away because the movie, we didn't have enough money to make the movie look good. In color. Color needs attention. You need to unify the color. You need to find if any DP would have come to me when I was working on this project and say, okay, so what are the magentas that you want, or what is the Pantone, suite of color that you need for that scene? I was like, go fuck yourself. I'm focusing on something that's way more interesting than that, and that was the subject. So black and white, if you look at pictures from photograph artists, from all of them, if they do black and white and color, black and white is always more powerful. Why? Because you just focus on the subject. There is no pollution around to take your eyes and say, oh, there's a flag over there, or there's a black car, or a red car over here. No, you just focus on the kiss of these two people in the middle of the Place de la Concorde, So that's what black and white does, and it's cheaper. And it makes you look hardy. So still 25 years later, the movie didn't take it doesn't look old because we didn't have to use the equipment that makes light special for, if you look at the movies from the 80s, they all have the same kind of lighting because they were all using the same kind of equipment. They had the same kind of film, same kind of technology, of chemistry. So they all looked alike. Black and white makes you go another way and gives you a chance to stand up.
There's one of the most iconic moments of cinema is the Molotov cocktail blowing up planet Earth. Can you tell me about putting that shot together, because it looks so beautiful, and also when the concept for that shot came to you, because it's such a genius.
From the beginning. from the beginning. I knew the ending, and I knew what I wanted to start with, because I knew I wanted to start with a joke, and I knew I wanted to start with pictures of the Paris burning, of the riots. So, and yeah, I wanted to make universal by showing the planet burning and being like somebody throwing a cocktail to an advertisement in the street. The problem is that when you shoot, if you shoot long lens, and if you throw a cocktail, Molotov cocktail, it will go out of the screen, out of the frame, and come back on the frame. So we had to change. We couldn't just throw something on the floor on the screen, and we had to be careful that I couldn't throw a real cocktail because I could have burned myself. So we had to build a scaffolder and put it on upside down so I could just let it go down. And it worked. It worked the first time. We were so fucking happy, and because it's just like a stupid piece of paper and some alcohol on it, and just throwing a bottle. So it works. I love it.
Oh,
when
wow.
we had that, I was like, if we made that shit work, then the rest is gonna be easy.
And also, you talked about that beginning montage. What's amazing about it is that you immediately put us against the police. They're always on the other side of the camera. We're always looking at them from the perspective of. Yeah. Can you talk about choosing those scenes and putting that moment together?
Because when you see, back in the days, we had like a few media, few TV channels, like 6 or 5, 6 or 10, less than 10. And they were all covered the riots from behind the cops. So the only way you could see these guys were from behind the cops. My point of view was, this is a movie that talks from this guy's point of view. So all the riots and I tried to show, to show people that, when you look at archives like that on in the news, you see mayhem, but when you look at it a little closer, and you see what people do, you see the real rage in people's eyes, and you can feel that energy. And I wanted to people to be energized when they go see movies. Same thing with the title. We used a different title for the movie called Droit de Cité, which means it's a play on words, talking about like if you'd say the project, okay, having a vision for the project, okay, like it's a beautiful kind of way to talk about the projects and say that there is hope, okay. The project. I could have called the movie like that, but I said we have to put this on the title because we're going to see mayors and we're going to see police chiefs and all that. We cannot go with a movie called La Haine, like hate, So they would panic. So we had a fake title, and it was not a bad title. And my producer said, well, why don't you use that title? And I was like, no. I need people to get in the theater knowing what the fuck they're going to see. If I call this movie Three Guys in Paris, it's not the same. If I call it, if you call it, it's very important. Even the title and the poster, it's very important that the message that you send to people. What are you going to, you're going to pay $10. What are you going to see? I'm not lying to you. You cannot get out of the theater going like, oh shit, you didn't tell me. No, we told you. So that's the movie is not, when you do a political movie, it's not just the movie itself, it's the communication around it. It's everything that goes with it. So again, what was the question?
That's good though. I like the answer, because with that communication, that meant that when you went to the premiere in Cannes, when you were on the red carpet, Libération reported that the security guards of the police, they turned their backs on you because they thought you were making. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was a mix of I like it because I thought, you know, at least they have balls because they are not following orders and they are doing what they think they should do. At the same time, they're idiots because they're right outside of the theater. They haven't seen the movie. We're just the first one to see it. So what the fuck are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about and you're turning your back. So you're actually making my point. I like your bowls, but they're empty. It just sucks. I don't know if you can say that, BFI.
You can say whatever you want. Can you tell me about the music? Because obviously the start scene, we have Bob Marley, but mostly this film is remembered for the bringing French hip hop to the world.
There's no music in the movie, actually.
I meant the soundtrack more than
there is an opening scene. There is no soundtrack to the movie. There is no there is no score. There is a soundtrack. There is no score. The music that you hear in the movie is, besides the first one, it's music that you hear from the radios, from the cars, from, you know, people's apartment. But you never hear music from. There is no score because it's very easy to trick people and to make them cry. You can watch any Instagram video 1 minute with a cat and a violin, and you will crash. So it's very easy to manipulate the audience like that. And I didn't want to do that because the only way you can hear music when you're in the street is through somebody else's, you know, apartment. So there is no music in your ears when you're being chased by the police or when your friends get killed or when you don't hear anything like that. So I didn't want to use any, but music is present in the project and is present in my life and present, you know, and you have to have music at some point in the movie to make it lighter a little, just to allow people to evade it a little bit, to escape a little bit. So we choose music that was relevant to the subject and that they could be listening to. The good luck we had is that when we got the Bob Marley song, Bob was not that, it was a legend, of course, but was not commercially the beast that he is today. The family, they were still, he was still Bob Marley. So when we asked for permission, we sent you have to ask the family. Right, so they're not joking around. So you have to send. Now I don't know today. Maybe I think today it's being so commercialized. You know, Bob Marley is being used on commercials everywhere. So I'm not sure it's the same. But back in the days, we had to go through a family, and so we sent the opening credits with the riots and everything, and they said, "Go ahead, do whatever you want." So we didn't have to pay. We paid like a small amount of money to get the rights, which today would be $1 million, I'm sure.
And the use of French hip hop?
And the use of French hip hop, it's my background. I was raised on French hip hop. I was raised on American hip hop, but French hip hop were my friends. So of course they're part of it. And but they're not. There's no French hip hop in the movie. What are you talking about? There is Cut Killer. There's the DJ who does his thing with the two French group that were enemies back in the days. I was hanging out with a group called Assassin, and there was NTM was the other group. They were fighting. We're like fighting in the street, like horrible stories, stupid. And I want them to be reunited on that cut. So I told the DJ, I want you to use the words from samples from their cut, and I want you to make it I want you to make it so that the dumb bourgeois critics would say, oh, they had Edith Piaf, they had French song, they have little education and a little respect for, they don't hate France, they don't hate white. Oh, they're listening to Jacques Brel and to so and it worked because people said, oh, it's amazing, they're using, it's a kind of respect to the French culture, which it is. But we used to do that, we like in hip hop, the French culture was very involved, and it was not just a reproduction of what American hip hop was doing. It was very specific. So I said we need to show it also to the public who doesn't know hip hop, that it's an art and that people are creative and they are not just stuck to their limits.
And in terms of, you said you wanted the film to have light moments. It's a very funny film. It's
almost a comedy. That's why the movie is successful, and you can watch it again and again. It's a comedy with jokes. It's all comedy. It's 89 minutes of comedy and 1 minute of ending.
Yeah, and it works in that way. But what I found really tremendous was how when they get to Paris, the people they meet are all very comedic. It's so against what we'd ever seen.
Because when I was in Paris, the problem I had is that I had to fill the blanks. I knew my ending. I just had to go through 12 hours for these kids, so I had to fill the fucking blanks. And it was very similar to what we did when we came to Paris, when my friends came to Paris and we had to hang out in the streets and we didn't have money to go anywhere and the subways were closed and we had to find things to do. And most of them were, even when I used to hang out with like really bad guys, it was more comedic than anything else. Even if you want to steal a car because you want to go home, or you want to, have a restaurant and run after because you cannot pay the bill, all these things were fucking funny. They were funny. We had fun all the time. So I decided to go to do what we did when we came to Paris. Like, we don't know what to do. The only thing we can do is bullshit. So let's make it fun. And yes, it's caricatural. It's a caricature of it. But I don't know why it works. It works because I don't know why. Because when I look at it today, I'm like, it's crazy. It's like a bad comedy. This could be like a bad, if it was in color. If you take the scenes in Paris and if it was in color, the scene with Asterix or the scene with, when they try to open the door with the fish islands and things like that, it's ridiculous. But at that time of the movie, we have enough information to understand that something bad is going to happen, because we have the timings and we have also the drama. We know he has the gun, and we know something is going to happen, because I warned everybody from the beginning, be careful. Now it's 2:00, but soon it's going to be 3:00 and something might happen. So people are warned. And at the same time, we just came out of a lot of pressure from the project, and we could see that things could have gone bad already. So people are keen to start to laugh and to start to take it, to take what you gave them in a more, plus it's so ridiculous already what happened to them in the projects that, and they saw a cow, there is the jokes already, we're already there, so why not? And it's kind of, even if it's too much, it's kind of close to what I experienced.
A part of the reason that it is funny is the 3 great performances. Can you talk about the actors and how you work with them?
So I knew Vincent from before. I used to hang out in the street with him. I knew Hubert from Métis because I hired him to play against me in my first movie. And I discovered Said, who was a friend of Vincent. And I don't know. I decided to go with these guys because I could have gone with anybody. But they were friends of mine, and they were like, it was easier for me to work with people that I knew their tics, their way, the way they walk, the way they talk, and I could put my words in their mouth easier than if I had to go with people that I didn't know about and I had to go through a casting or anything. So I didn't know if they were the best for the part. I could have maybe choose, people that are more, different to reflect different. But I was like, it has to be a friends movie. It has to be something that people can relate to, and they have to see it in our eyes. We cannot just come here and work. So I have to feel confident that these guys are in the same boat as I am, that they are not here for anything else but to put this project together. So we were. I wrote everything. I don't do. There's one scene in the movie that was invented on the spot, but the rest is written way above. So way before. So I got the kids. We rented an apartment in the projects like 3 months before, and like a month before they came in, and because I wanted them to go and to understand and to meet the people because the kids in the project were like, "What the fuck are you doing? Who are you?" They thought we were cops. They thought we were like journalists. They thought we were like different kind of. So they questioned us, they tested us, and we said, no, we're coming to do a movie, but we needed to be within the group already and get the jokes and get the kind of humor they're using, the lingo they're using, and break the ice. So we got together in a small apartment, and we cooked. We were there, and we just cooked and read the script and and find jokes and have fun. Because I knew that on the set, I wouldn't have. I know my editing. I know when you really, all you have to do when I'm good at what I do, you take the slates out take the slates out in the beginning and the end, and you put number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have a movie. So I really know all I need to do is to get the actors, because there's not a lot of shots in the movie. So all I need to do is to get the actors to get the timing right. Because I know what I want to do with the camera, but they have to get the timing right so that when at the end of the shot, I can cut here and boom, I go to the next one, which I know exactly how it's going to start. So I need to get my timing for the whole movie, every shot right, because I'm not going to do it in edit. I don't do, multiple, counter shots or shit like that. I try to do everything in one shot. So when you do things in one shot, you need to get the actors to get it right. So I worked a lot with them to mold them into my rhythm, my camera work, because it's very specific. And then I worked with them. There is a beautiful scene when they are talking when they're in Paris and they're talking in the restroom of where the Tadek comes in, the older Jewish guy. Before that, there is a scene with the mirrors, and there's only one shot that goes from one to another. We found it on the spot. I knew we had ready, but I was like, okay, how am I going to do it? I don't want to shoot like 15 shots of that scene and shoot him and then him and then him. So we found this, and then it's about getting the actors to understand that I see you in the reflection here, and then I'm going to use you to go through him. So you need to move out. Even if you have no reason, you have to find a reason you have to create a reason. So it cannot look fake. So how we do this, and that becomes the play and the work that we all do together. So that it's okay. I'll go and wash my hand. Now I'm going to look at myself. I'm going to look at him in the mirror. Okay, let's do this. That's better to do with friends. If you do with somebody that's too above you, or it's like theater. You have to be responsive. You have to be like reacting on the spot.
Great, and we're running out of time, so I'm just going to jump to a final question, which was partly to do with the reaction. When President Chirac, Prime Minister Juppé, or even the National Front leader Jean-Marie Le Pen started to talk about La Haine in everyday politics, what was your reaction to that?
Fuck them. The thing is that they wanted to screen the movie at the Palais of the Élysée, and they have a screening room there. And my producers, they are going to show the movie, and all the government is going to be there. And I said, good, go with them. I'm not going. I say, why? It's because if they need to know about the project, they should get their asses in the fucking in a bus, go to the project, go spend 2 hours with those kids and talk to them. Then I'll go and see the movie with them. But if they're just if they just think that they are going to know more about the projects by watching this movie in their own fucking comfort zone, fuck them. So producer went, and of course I couldn't go. Of course. So yeah, of course they're still using it today. You know, there's still it's still a reference in some cases. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's great. That's why it's such a legendary film. Mathieu, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And thank you most of all for such a great film.
Thank you very much. And I hope I'll see you around when all this bullshit is ending. All right?
Exactly.
How are you doing in England?
Not as bad as France, but we're heading back in that direction.
We're good. We don't have problems. We're not in lockdown. You're in lockdown, right?
From Monday again, yeah.
All right, okay. All right. I'll see you soon, guys.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Haine is playing at cinemas across the UK now. Listings are available on the BFI website. We had included a link below. If you enjoyed this event, please consider donating to the BFI. They are a charity and their venues were closed for a long time during lockdown, so your support helps them keep going. Thanks for watching. Good night.